Ladies and gentlemen, after witnessing the presentation of awards for managerial excellence, I think we need to know more about managerial excellence from none other than someone who considered as epitome of managerial excellence. Mr. C.K. Ranganathan, Chairman and Managing Director, Kevin Care Limited. May I have his AV, please?
Mr. C.K. Ranganathan, President, AIMA and Chairman and MD, Kevin Care Private Limited. Mr. C.K. Ranganathan was born in Kadalur to parents with primary interests in education. He took up his bachelor's in chemistry and after a short stint in the family business, he set up Chick India. The company began its journey as Chick India and was renamed Kevin Care Private Limited, CKPL, in 1998 with a starting investment of Rs 15,000. The company manufactures and markets many products under the brand of Chick Spins, Farever, Meera, Nile, Raga Professional, Kartika, Indica, Kevin's Ruchi, Chinese, Ma, Bactovi and Garden, etc., both in the domestic and international markets. Mr. Ranganathan is the President of All India Management Association for the year 2021-22 and also President of TIE Chennai Chapter and past President of MMA. C.K. Ranganathan is one of the founder members of the Ability Foundation, an NGO working towards the rehabilitation of the disabled. He instituted Kevin Care Ability Awards to celebrate annually the exemplary spirit of rare breed of individuals who have risen above their physical limitations to display that attitude is everything. He also instituted an annual Chinni Krishnan Innovations Award to encourage small entrepreneurs in memory of his father, Sri R. Chinni Krishnan, the man who pioneered the sachet revolution.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Respected dignitaries on the dais. It's a pleasure to be with you and thank you for inviting me for this excellent special event. I fondly cherish always events at MMA and my memories goes back to my presidency here and where GC and team rocked, and they continue to rock after so many years. I'm very proud of you, GC and team. It has been consistently the most active and accomplished LMA in the country, and it's a model for other LMAs around the country. MMA is standing tall. IMA has always admired MMA for its work and recognized its outstanding contribution to the development of management excellence in this region. No LMA has won more than Best LMA awards than MMA, and I am confident that MMA will continue to set the standards higher and higher. Mr. Subbarao, thank you for a kind welcome. Many compliments to you and your fellow office bearers for providing excellent leadership to MMA. Congratulations on the launch of the MMA mobile app and the revamped MMA YouTube channel. A management association must keep up with the changing communication technologies and continuously upgrade its services to the members and the associates. Dr. Sujata Narayanan and Dr. Adrian Hack, it's a pleasure to share the dais with you, and I learned a lot from your respective keynotes and special addresses. Thank you. Many congratulations to all the award winners. It's a privilege to facilitate you and acknowledge your contribution to the management competitiveness of the state and the country. Now, in the 20th edition, the MMA Management Excellence Awards are a great means to recognize achievement and to inspire others to raise the bar further. The awards are particularly important because of a deliberate focus on the manufacturing sector, which despite its critical importance to the economic transformation and job creation, tends to be overshadowed by more fashionable sectors these days. I compliment the leaders of the awarded companies in both the manufacturing and service sectors, and I urge them to keep working towards setting higher benchmarks for their peers and the young entrepreneurs. I am pleased to note that the awardees have had an opportunity to make presentation about their best practices in the run up to the award presentation. Sharing one's special management know-how is necessary for its further development by others. Excellence can never be private or exclusive, as it must be socially validated, and knowledge can strengthen the collective only when it is open to all. I appreciate the generosity of the award winners in sharing their best practices with the audience. Management excellence changes according to the circumstances and the prevailing values. You all know that we have been continuously going through series of challenges, disruptions. First it came in the form of COVID. And of course, COVID is still there, but it's no more threatening the way it used to be. And now I think the war situation was threatening us, and it seemed to be somewhat settling. The latest one is inflation around the world. And I think we are in a situation of stagflation. And that's actually is a worry. And India is, as of now, is really looking well. All you meet up with any industrialist, they are telling I'm doing well and so on. But at a very high inflation rate, we have to land someday. I hope that the unprecedented oil prices, both vegetable oil, already it started coming down, crude is also coming down. All these things I think should make the economy to come back fast. I'm quite optimistic about the future, but however, the Western worlds are catching up with the inflation, and that's a worry. We can't be telling that India is not going to be affected. At the end of the day, we are an import-dependent economy, and that's definitely going to have a big issue as we go forward. So I only see there are a lot of positive shoots within India, but the global environment is not rosy at all. Therefore, that I think we need to factor in. The consumer behavior, I would like to state that it has changed significantly. Who thought a 55-year-old woman who just studied about 6th or 7th standard, having mobiles only to speak with the kind of relatives and friends, because of Corona, the grandchildren and their own children started teaching her how to shop, how to make use of the social media better. And suddenly we see this one example I am telling, and they are now shopping online. The behavior has changed. And we, the companies like the FMCG companies, we are all dancing to their tunes. And what we thought is, whatever it was difficult to make the paperless office by the kind of this thing in the so-called so many years, a lot of IT heads were battling, and the managing directors also used to be that way. And suddenly Corona made life simpler and easier, a lot of automation. And that's also one important thing that note. So automation, if you look at, this also brings in a lot of issues as we go forward, which we need to be prepared. But what I would like to say is the consumer behavioral change is a prime thing. That dictates series of behavioral change to the industry. I think that needs to be very, very critically and closely looked at. So the automation I was talking about is very, very good and interesting, but it poses a big risk and a challenge, particularly in the white collar segment, more so. What was good in the past, suddenly you require a new skill set to learn, because machines are eating into the jobs which people were doing. I'm very often reminded, this I've been quoting in various my speeches. There's a site called willrobotstakemyjob.com. I constantly see that. At least I will be seeing it once in a 45 days or 2 months. And that's important to me, because I constantly look at which are the jobs that are eaten away by machines. You type a job on that, it will tell, okay, accountant, he'll say your job, you are doomed. So 97% automation achieved, highest level. One need to know, we may not have done that way, but each job, what is the levels of automation being done elsewhere is what is going to catch up with us very fast. We need to be aware of that and cognizance of that. So that is a worry for me. I think, I'm sure a lot of leaders definitely will look at as to how to ensure that our team members are continuously educated and to fight against the machines' automation processes. What is very important is, this is a new challenge that's going to happen. That's what we are grappling with. I'm sure many companies are. We are not an exception. One end is the employment destruction coming because of the digitization, and that's one thing that very, very worrying and important that we need to handle it. The other thing, if you are to look at the automation, it calls for upskilling of our own people. Some of the requirements, people are not ready, not able to upskill, however much you put efforts. And that's going to be more and more pronounced as we go forward. This is going to be, you may say, today I don't have a problem, but mark my words, in the next 4 to 5 years' time, you will be compelled by competition. And if you don't change, we will be outsmarted by competition. That's going to happen. So it's important to be competitive, to stay alive in business, we need to change along with others. And that's one of the important call for this. So this tells me two things, important requirements. Organizations who are of the future, who are going to survive, in my viewpoint, those who are able to develop their people substantially. And those, I think it's equally important, what kind of efforts is put. A lot of time, it's training and development is that's happening time and again. And that has been yielding good results. My predictions is, that is good, but may not be sufficient enough. You need to do more. When I say what we need to do more, I mean that the ability of the employees who are coming, that is also important. One end, organization can put efforts. Other end, I think it's important. People also need to consume, and they have thirst to upgrade oneself, and that's a very important ask. Nowadays, what we are doing, I can tell you our own example. Our interviewing techniques and selection of people have substantially changed. And I feel it's good. We have changed it for the last 2 years, and it is definitely yielding results we are able to see. What is the change that we have brought in? We have been always hiring for, our belief, and I'm sure it's the case for everybody, it is hiring for attitudes, the way one's mind thinks. And also I think it's important that how they are able to learn, unlearn, because the world is changing fast. You have to keep unlearning. You need to be agile. You need to change fast, because change in behavior is a big thing, and we are not used to kind of this thing. The future is going to demand far, far higher amount of changes, and that shift changes. The technology becomes obsolete. What was there very good 5 years ago, suddenly something else comes in, and that becomes obsolete. So it's important to also let go and keep changing, adapting to the new environment, new technologies. And that's a skill set we need to validate, whether adaptability is high or low adaptability quotient. And we need to say that fundamentally we learn by reading, by seeing, by listening, all combinations. But fundamentally the comprehension of whatever you do, I am speaking now, I think we all can understand. If the same may not be the case with somebody, and they say, okay, I heard something I comprehended, many things I didn't. But I think it's important, the learners, fast learners, the ability to learn fast is a very important thing. Those days, when I started business, I never used to worry about that. Whether the learning ability, you can see somebody adjacent, you can keep learning on the job. That is okay. But I don't think that will be sufficient as we go forward. I believe that it is important that the comprehension, the learning, and applying it back. And now we are asking consciously our own colleagues, now that you learned something, tell us, how are you going to apply that learning? We have a program called IIY. It is called Invest in Yourself. And we have already done about 40% of our functions are now embracing it. Our endeavor is to make at least near 100% in the next 2 years' time. What do they do is, we have been telling people, upgrade yourself, upgrade yourself. That has been not happening. We have been talking about that for quite some time. Now we said, we'll give you dedicated 1 hour time during office hours. And subject is very clearly predefined. What's the selection process? We say that you have to read or see YouTube channels or whatever you do. These are the subjects you need to familiarize with, and come back and make a presentation to your own colleagues. Every Friday is dedicated for that. There is that, it is not only that what's the learning, but how am I going to apply? We choose the topic based on which are the topics, if the company improves its competency or learning knowledge, it can be applied immediately and that will be beneficial to the company. That's a very crux of selecting the topics. It's not something you learn, I will apply it after 2 years. I think that's very good, very, very good results. I can tell you that in the last 2 years we have been doing those functions who are embraced, because a lot of resistance, you know that. We are not easy to change. That's why we said now it's going to be only ability to learn, absorb and apply. This is a very important thing. I think phenomenal change. Initially there was resistance. What is this happening? Why are you forcing us to read? I can manage and so on. But now I can tell you that they are telling invariably this is what we are hearing. Even if you say that you don't do it, we are not going to stop now. Because their market value is going up. Their knowledge is going up. Once their knowledge is going up, so there are enough debate at the senior management level. We are developing people and we'll be losing. What if you don't develop people and stay on? That's a bad thing for the company. It is important that we look at that. Therefore, there is a responsibility for the company to develop its own people, ready for facing the onslaught of the digitization that's happening, ready for the change in technologies, and also equally responsibility from the employee side also, the professional side, is to learn fast and let go of the obsolete technologies. I think this is a very, very important ask, and this will be the new turbulence that's going to be more and more pronounced as we go forward, is my viewpoint. Companies who are going to learn fast, who are able to make their people, will go a long, long way. My belief is the value of an enterprise grows disproportionately to that of the value it adds to its own stakeholders and more so to its own employees. And the vice versa is also true. The value of an individual grows disproportionately to that of the value he or she adds back to the organization where he serves. I believe that this will redefine in a changing, very turbulent environment, and the pandemic may go off, and the Ukraine-Russia war will go off, the inflation will settle down, but the digitization, which was started some time ago, it's going to take and going to give us a lot of pains if we don't change. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that my idea is to give a kind of this thing, thought-provoking thing. We also enjoyed Dr. Sujata's address. I think it was very nice. You said you are not an MBA. I was not also an MBA. So I'm there with you. So all I can say is MBA is just a kind of stamp you learn some formal things. But at the end of the day, what you apply makes a big difference. I think that's a very, very important thing. So thank you very much. Thanks MMA for giving me this opportunity.